All right, Deb, let's go over the swing starting with the setup. So setup's pretty good here. A minor thing that I think you can improve on, just have a look at my setup. Do you see that straight line from the shoulders all the way through the handle of the bell? And when I look at yours, you got a straight line here, but then the bell is sort of tipped. So what's going to happen is you're going to have some slack in this bell, and you can see this right when you go to take off. So right when you go to take off, that bell is coming back, and you see how the angle is right here. It's going to have to flip back this way. And when it flips back that way, you're going to lose a little bit of energy. So the goal here is to just have that bell in a straight line across the hands. Easy fix though, all through the setup. So when you go, you'll see this now, and this leads to the next fault that I will work on is that bell likes to swing. And this is going to repeat in all of your swings, not just this first one. And it's a habit you want to get out of. And I want to just show you on mine here, when I take off, right, this position here, there's very little rotation through the bell. And this means that I'm going to have more tension, which means more power. And as that bell begins to rotate through the hands, as you come forwards, you've corrected. It looks good right here, like we're in a nice straight line. See how that's straight? That's what we want to have the bell almost the entire way through. And this all starts right from the setup. Okay, next thing I want to look at, positioning at the top. Right now, it's not too bad. It's not too bad, but I think you can improve on this a little bit. And this is going to be your alignment right at the top. So the heavier the bell is, the more you're going to have this offset. So if I were swinging a bell, this one's 53. So if I was swinging a 100-pound kettlebell, I'm probably going to look more like you in this regard because I have to offset the weight. But especially when it's a bell you can control, and that's what we want here, you want to be able to lock out at the knees, lock out at the hips, right at the top. Right now, you're at the top of your swing, but you're not fully locked out. So you have to think, squeeze the glutes so the hips come forwards, and lock out the knees so the hips come back. That's going to be the top of your swing. Now, when you were doing the class, you've actually corrected what we were talking about in the class, and that was the late hips. So another thing I want to point out that's pretty good, your shoulders, you've got a pretty good pack here. So I mean the shoulders are down and back. We just compare it on this side here. See the shoulders are down and back. That's good. We want to avoid, and we can't see it here because you're not doing it, we don't want those shoulders coming forwards. So that's good. Now as you come back down, the late hips, you've gotten a lot better here, but we still need to work on this position. So let's break this down. The bell is coming down, and I want you to pay attention to your knees. Your knees are bending all the way, right from the start. So what we want to do to have a late catch is those knees should bend last. The knees should bend last. So have a look at my knees here as I progress this swing. So the bell's coming down, they are still locked. It's only about right here they begin to bend, and that is only after my hips have begun to hinge, right? So the hinge happens at the hips and the knees almost simultaneously, but you want to initiate through the hips because the bell itself is going to be coming down. Therefore, we want to go order of operations here, 1 and 2. So as you bring that bell down, okay, these knees, and let's try and get to a position here, right where I bend the knees here. Your knees, because they're not locked out, so technically they never really did get straight, but if we put the bell about the same trajectory, look at your position right now compared to my position. And all I'm doing here is I am leveraging my entire frame. So right from my head to toe, so head to toe, I'm able to take this entire posterior chain, the backside of my body, to absorb the impact of the kettlebell. You have effectively taken your height and you've cut it off at the knees and the waist. So you are losing, okay, a little bit of height, and more height means you're going to be able to absorb more kettlebell. Absorbing more kettlebell means you're going to be able to reuse more energy. Reusing more energy means you're going to be able to do more swings before you get tired. And of course, I chirp you less. But anyway, next, actually, and really when I say next, I want you to go through this swing, and now you can really see these. First of all, let's go back to what we said before. We're skipping the start, but watch that bell sort of rotate through the hands, right? So you are coming forwards, the bell is still behind you, it's lagging, the knees and everything is coming forwards. This is good here. You're in a much better, right here you lock out. So I don't know if you see this, locked, you're good. You're a little bit far back. I think you can be a little bit straighter in this position. And your swing gets better as it goes on. And again, this comes right down from the setup. But right at the top here, let's work on that descent, late catch, already better than the last one I showed you. But you see, again, those knees are going. I want you to wait a little bit more. That was a lot better, though, on this one. So, yeah, this bell swinging in the hands, this is like a lagging measure. If you have later hips, so if you bend your knees and hips later, then the bell is not going to be rotating in the hands as much. And let's watch here. So as I bring that bell down, watch that bell in the hands, right? I'm coming forwards. That bell is pretty much locked in that straight line. There's going to be a slight, you can see that, there's a slight amount of bend, but that's maximum. And then it coming forwards, and then my late hips, that means, and again, the late hips, this is referred to as the catch, right, where that transition from going backwards, back up, and the catch itself is done through the hamstrings, and we want to minimize that going to the back. All in all, though, Deb, this is much better than it was in the class. So clearly that whatever cue worked, work on those points, and maybe I'll see you in the morning for the clean and snatch class.